The warped minds of Japanese developers have given us plenty of crazy games over the years. In this video, we take a look at older games that have some extremely weird bosses in them. These designs are so crazy that you really have to respect the imagination of the developers. Here are 10 retro games with absolutely ridiculous bosses. Mr. Nuts is a platform game from 1994 featuring a red squirrel. It's like Conker's cousin went on an LSD-fueled adventure. If the character and enemies are cute and light-hearted, then the bosses are exactly the opposite. They're big, serious, and dark in both tone and design. There's even a guy that squirts out eyeballs. That's pure nightmare fuel in a game that's primarily aimed at children. What were they thinking?
Here she comes!
Undercover Cops is a beat-em-up from 1992. It's a game about tough guys in jeans with knee pads punching their way through a bunch of enemies. The absolutely bizarre bosses at the end of each stage are the main reason for playing. It has the manliest woman you've ever seen in a game, and she has some very disturbing animations. There's a tribute to the Terminator, and the list goes on and on. Undercover Cops is definitely one of the weirder beat-em-ups out there. There is Insanity, and then there is the Parodius series. These games are tongue-in-cheek parodies of the Gradius series. Konami actually parodied itself with this series, which is of course pretty awesome. You have to wonder what the developers were smoking when they came up with the bosses in these games. Every boss in the series has a crazy amount of detail and lots of work put into it. We really shouldn't underestimate Japan's creativity when it comes to weirdness. Earthworm Jim is a Western platform game series that's completely crazy. You play a worm in a supersuit who has to fight his way through a bunch of different stages. The game also has some very strange bosses. Our favorite one has to be Bob the Killer Goldfish. He is featured as a boss in all 3 of the console games. Now, we don't expect much from a goldfish, but the fight Bob puts up is just sad. You simply reach in the bowl and eat him. Now that's one hell of a weak boss. Although we really do appreciate the irony of a worm-eating fish. You may think Cho Anarchy is your typical bullet hell shooter, but you would be wrong. This Japanese shoot-'em-up features lots of muscle-bound men in their underwear posing in a number of creative ways. The game is pretty popular in Japan and got no less than 8 sequels. The story is about 2 playable characters who are sent by the Heavenly Realm to defeat the evil bodybuilder Bo Emperor Bill. This game definitely has some of the most bizarre bosses we have ever seen. you should expect a few weird bosses in a game called Ninja Baseball Batman. This arcade beat-em-up was made by the same developers that made Undercover Cops. This game is about a ninja who is also a baseball player. You need to beat up all sorts of colorful enemies and recover various artifacts stolen from the Baseball Hall of Fame. It might be a ridiculous idea for a game, but it's a lot of fun to play. There's something very satisfying about hitting huge bosses with a bat. Blazing Star is a classic shoot-'em-up from 1998 that was released on the Neo Geo. This genre is known for having weird bosses, and Blazing Star doesn't disappoint. The final boss is one of the strangest bosses we've ever seen in a video game. Not many other games can top a baby with laser breath and guns strapped to each arm. You are so busy staring at the thing, you almost forget to shoot it. Taking down a flying gun-wielding baby is something you don't do every day. Guardians is an obscure arcade beat-em-up from 1995. It's kind of a shame that this great game never got ported to consoles. There are an insane amount of moves and combos available for each character. The combo possibilities in Guardians seems almost endless. The bosses in this game are really weird and awesome at the same time. There's a huge muscle man, a robot, of course, and a strange crab-like creature. It's a nice mix of Japanese weirdness we really enjoy playing. Wiz & Liz is a platform game developed by Raising Hell Software for the Sega Genesis in 1993. It looks like a cute game without any enemies to fight. However, that changes when you reach the bosses at the end of every level. Prepare to meet another portion of creepy and weird bosses in a platform game aimed at kids. These bosses are scary in a messed up way. However, nothing is more haunting than that moon in the background. It watches you the whole time and makes some creepy faces. We didn't plan on sleeping tonight anyway. We end this video with King of Demons, a platform game released only in Japan for the Super Nintendo. Castlevania fans will like it since it has many demons, monsters, and other scary creatures. The scale and detail of the bosses is really impressive for the system it's on. The game is full of absolutely bizarre bosses with tricky movement patterns. You will need a lot of skill to beat this game and get the good ending. However, it is definitely worth seeing just how many crazy bosses King of Demons throws at you. Did you know any of these strange games? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.